hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean, yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am going to sit down and work on my September budget. So I'm going to fill out my monthly income, or projected income I should say, my projected monthly expenses, my sinking funds, cash envelopes, debt, everything like that, all the monthly budget stuff for September. So if you guys are interested, stay tuned. So I am working on my September budget in my Erin Condren Deluxe Monthly Planner. This is the 7x9 size, and this is what I use for all of my budgeting. Anything financially related, I put into this planner, which I absolutely love. I will show you guys in a separate video how I set up my budget. I've showed it in previous videos, but I have quite a few new people, so I thought that I would do a different video that goes into detail about how exactly I set it up and what pages I use for what. But we are going to start with my September budget, and I am going to write out my income, what the budgeted amount is, and then all of my expenses, and then I come back in at the end of the month and write down what my actual income was, as well as what my actual expenses were, to see how I ended up through the month, whether I was over or under budget. So I'm going to start at the top here with income. So I have income, what the budgeted amount is, what the actual amount is, and then whether I was over or under. I am using the Erin Condren dual tip markers, so one is a fine tip, the other is a thick, more like a marker tip. So that's what I use in my planner. I have oozles of colors there. So my first income type for September is going to be my full-time job. So I'm just going to write FT in there for that. The budgeted amount for September is going to be $3,725. And it's higher because I actually have 5 paydays in September, and I can show you guys that quick. I haven't set up my monthly, or I mean I got the monthly spread set up, but I haven't actually set up my bills yet. But I get paid every Friday, so as you can see there are 5 Fridays in September, so I'm going to have 5 different paychecks in September, which is kind of nice because then when you do your payments like I do, I break them out over my paycheck. So if my car payment is say $500 and it's due on the 23rd, I take that money out each week so that by the 23rd I have that $500 saved up. So when there's 5 paychecks in the month, it's kind of like I'm getting an extra paycheck to separate out those bills, so I take out less each week than I normally would for a 4 paycheck month. And I can go into a video on that too, explaining exactly how I do that. I've done that, but it's been a long time, and I can do a revamped version. So anyway, so my full-time job will be $3,725 is what I am projecting that income to be for the month. And then my part-time job, which I do some at-home bookkeeping, and that amount is going to be $1,312.50. And then I have quite a few different online income sources, but I'm going to lump them all together for the sake of this monthly budget. And that's going to be $200 that I am budgeting for the month of September. So let me pull my calculator out here. Okay. So we have that $37.25 plus the $13.12.50 plus the $200. So my projected monthly income for September is $5,237.50. And then at the end of the month, after I get that fifth paycheck on the last Friday of the month, which I think is the 30th, I'll come back in here then and write out what my actual income was for the month, and then whether I was over or under in any three of those categories. Then we're going to move down here to my expenses. So we're going to do what the expense is, the budgeted amount, the actual amount, and whether I was over or under. And my expenses include everything from debt payments to utilities, rent, TV, phone, fixed payments and variable payments, and then as well as my sinking funds and my cash envelope. So any expense that I have throughout the month that I know of in advance will go on this spreadsheet. And then whatever I do not account for would be considered an unbudgeted expense, which if I have one throughout the month, I'll show you guys how I do that. I do that in my weekly check-in, and then noted in some transactions. So I do that separate from here. Okay, so my first one is my Capital One credit card. And that one is going to be $200. And then PayPal is $60. And then my vehicle payment is $612. My monthly camper payment is $204. And we have been having a lot of fun with the camper this summer. It's a really, really fun family thing to have. Rent is $400. And then utilities $140 is what I'm going to project for this month. For TV, I have Hulu, and that right now is running right about $70. Verizon is who I have for cell phones, and for me and two of my kids, it's $139. And then, so those are my debt and all other bills, and now I'm on to my cash envelopes and sinking funds. So my first cash envelope is gas. Gas right now, I live in the Midwest. I think today it was $3.49 a gallon. So I know that that's a lot cheaper than many other areas of the country. So I am thankful for that. But it is way more expensive than it was 2 years ago. So that's still depressing, but at least it's been going down. So I'm going to budget $450 for the month of September for gas. For groceries, I am going to do $625. And I also have to account for, this is taking it times 5 weeks, because since I have 5 paychecks, I also then have to stuff my cash envelopes and sinking funds 5 times this month rather than 4. So these numbers are a little higher than they are on a normal 4 paycheck month. So all of these bills up, so Verizon up here, those amounts would be divided by 5. However, these ones here, I have to continue to stuff them the 5 weeks. So if that makes sense. And then my spending cash envelope is $125. So that one is normally $25 a week, so normally it's $100 a month, but because we have that 5th week in there, or for me, the 5th paycheck, it adds on another $25. So then lastly, I have my sinking funds, and so I have my sinking funds separated out. I'll show you here. Well, actually, I'll just flip over. Right here, I'll have them all separated out. So in my budget, I just lump them all together. So the total amount that I am anticipating putting in my sinking funds for the month of September is $925. And again, that number is higher than it normally is because there's that 5th paycheck in the month of September. Okay, so I will go ahead and get all of these figures added. So we have $200 for Capital One, $60 for PayPal, $612 for vehicle, $204 for the camper, $400 rent, $140 utilities, $70 for TV, $139 for phones, $450 for gas, $625 groceries, $125 spending, and $925 sinking funds. So that's $3,950. So I'm going to come down here in my totals column and get that figure written down. And then just like my income, at the end of the month, after all the bills have come through and whatnot, I'll come back, I'll write down the actuals for every single category here, and then what I was over or above what I had anticipated. So the next thing I'm going to do, I can get that out, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write out my sinking funds, but I'm going to actually count them in a separate video just because my sinking fund envelope is actually downstairs and I am not going to go grab it right now. So I'm just going to write down the categories that I have, and then I'll come back in another video and count them all out so you guys can see what each envelope has going into the month of September. So my first category is back to school. So for shopping for back to school. And then car insurance, car maintenance, Christmas, fair, and I'll explain that fair one in my sinking fund video. I have explained it before, but I've had a few people ask what that one was for, so I'll give a more detailed explanation in that video. Household, and then kids, personal care, and then we have school tuition, and lastly is vacation. And then I'm going to do the same up here. I don't have my debt information as far as totals go. I'm waiting on a few more payments to go through from August to see what that brings my debt down to going into September. So I'm going to write out the debt accounts that I have, and then I'll come back in a different video and write out the actual totals. So I have Capital One, PayPal, and then I have my vehicle and the camper. So that is going to be what I am working on right now, or at least from the information that I have. So I have my September budget laid out with my projected income for the month and then my projected expenses for the month. I have my debt accounts listed out and then my sinking funds listed out, and you guys will just have to check back in for videos when I finish out my budget, and then also when I count all my sinking fund and figure out what my totals are for my debt for the month. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was pretty short and sweet, but I really wanted to get this budget written out, and I had a few minutes, so I thought I'd sit down and do it. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. Give the video a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!